ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, February 15th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to try to connect here in just a few moments with John Mercer, the head coach of the Marshall tennis team. He's getting ready to get on a plane right now, so we're going to try to connect with him also in studio this hour. We're going to talk about the name reveal of the new baseball team coming to Huntington, the Tri-State Coal Cats. That's the name of the new squad, so we're going to talk to Jason Camp in just a few minutes about that. And, of course, we're going to get your text in this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to take our first and only time out. We'll come back. Hopefully we'll hear from John Mercer. If not, we'll go directly to Jason Camp. We'll talk Tri-State baseball on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Thursday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I want to welcome to the program now the head coach of the Marshall women's tennis team, John Mercer, who just a couple minutes ago I caught calling him right as he was going through the X-ray machine. We could have timed that much better, could we have, John?
Yes, but couldn't get any better than that. You gotta love those TSA people.
You're on the road again, getting set for more action, but let's talk about where you've been so far. Right now, you're 8-2. You had some really tough losses against top-ranked teams like UVA. They're currently ranked 7th, and you hung on with West Virginia, but you were missing a player. Other than that, you've been rolling over competition. What do you feel that's been your biggest strength so far as you've run out to this 8-2 start?
I think that we've just matured as a team. Last year we had a lot of talent and a lot of ability. We were just kind of up and down a lot. We were playing 2 freshmen, 3 sophomores, and a grad transfer. So it was our first year here. But, it just kind of takes a while for them to kind of get used to the level and kind of figure out what you need to do. And this year you see a lot more consistency out of them in their play, and they're just a lot more confident in what they're doing. So it's showing so far so good.
And the level of competition, usually teams like to get easy matches early, kind of feel like they can develop a team by early success. You've gone after as many top-level programs as you possibly can to start the season, and that's paying off for you.
Yeah, I mean, it works. We've kind of been, something we've always done since the first day that we were here. And, we don't shy away from playing Power 5 schools. And we want those schools. We want to play those schools. A lot of times, we actually, in the past, we've had some pretty good results. Last year we played Kentucky first, and we, pulled an upset down at Kentucky. So, that was really exciting. So sometimes it, works for you, and it kind of sets a standard and, gets them into a frame of mind that this is what they're going to be facing. And, if we can play this level, we'll have a successful season. So that's kind of the mindset. We want to play those teams, and that's what our expectations are.
You go into the weekend, you've got road matches, you've got a 5-match winning streak on the line. You're taking on Northwestern, Illinois State, also Illinois. It doesn't get any easier for your squad.
No, both Illinois and Northwestern probably top 40, if not top 30 teams. Northwestern has lost a couple 4-3s to teams. Vanderbilt, they lost last weekend. They're 18 in the country, I think, right around there. So really good competition, great opportunity. We've set ourselves up in a great position where, if we can get some wins here, we can really move up in the national rankings. So, we're kind of in that situation where, where we wanted to be. And, hopefully, we're excited. I think, our players are really excited, and they're really looking forward to this. They're looking forward to going to Chicago, looking forward to going to Champaign. We actually played there last year and had a really, really good match. And, I think we want to be back there again. I think we felt like it kind of slipped away from us. So hopefully we can get back in that same position we were last year and finish the deal.
John Mercer's with us, the Thundering Herd, an 8-2 mark. Thundering Herd on the road, taking on Northwestern, Illinois State. Illinois big wins, if you can manage them, will push you up in the rankings. This team, you've had to overcome a lot since COVID. Where are you at now? You feel confident that you've built everything back up to where it used to be, and who's standing out for you with that process?
Yeah, it's been a process. It takes a little while to, rebuild, and the COVID definitely hurt. We've all heard a bunch of times, with players, not getting to play, and just the travel and everything else was a very difficult time. But a lot of them really worked through it. And Rika Galar and Gabby Claret, they're our two seniors who their freshman year was COVID, and Rika came in and spent the first 2 weeks never leaving the dorm on the Marshall campus. It was her first 2 weeks experience of being at Marshall, and bless her heart, she stuck it out, and has worked really hard. The first year, she didn't get to play it too much because we had a lot of returners. We had a lot of people who came back and used their extra year, and this year she's playing awesome. She's a senior, and she's just literally jumped 2 levels in play and has been a big part of this. So give her a lot of credit. And Gabby, kind of the same thing in the doubles lineup. She's strictly playing doubles, but she's a real threat. And they're probably the 2 seniors. They're really leading the way right now. And then we got some younger ones at the top, which is great. And with their years experience, they're performing real well too. So just seem to have a lot of things coming together. The older kids now have enough experience, and the younger kids got a lot of experience last year. And so we're putting out an experienced team, which goes a long way these days.
John Mercer's with us, the Thundering Herd on the road. You've got a schedule that's going to feature 3 out of the next 4 matches against Big Ten teams. And you have Maryland scheduled for next week, and then eventually we're going to get into Sun Belt play. What's your early thoughts on the league? Is it as good or not as good, you think, as your non-conference schedule?
Well, you have Old Dominion, who finished, I think they were 28 in country last year, and they're a legitimate top 25 team. So that's what we're gunning for, to be that level, and that's what we're going to see this weekend. So this weekend will kind of tell us where we are and what we need to do to keep getting to that level, or are we already there? So we'll kind of find out. But they're up there. They're doing well. Georgia Southern's doing pretty well. South Alabama, they're doing pretty well also. So. Hopefully, we can get. Last year we got to the semis of the conference tournament. Lost a tough one to James Madison. So, hoping we can, get a good seed in our tournament. Just like the basketball tournament. Perform well, get to the semis where we were, and take it, a couple steps further. So that's what we're looking forward to come conference play.
John Mercer with us, head coach of the Marshall tennis team. Team is ranked 9th this week in the College Tennis Nation Women's Mid-Major Top 25. What does that mean to you when you see a ranking like that? How does that help?
Good. It's a big help. It helps, obviously with recruiting. When you're telling kids that that's where you are, there's a lot of really good quality programs that we're in front of. So I just saw that today. So it was, exciting for them, because of the hard work and that they've all been putting in. That's where their goals are. They want to be that type of team, and they want to be that program, and they want to continue the tradition that we'd built in the past, and get it to where they feel it should be, and be great representatives of Marshall, and they are. They're awesome young ladies who do unbelievable in school, and are right now doing great on the tennis court.
John Mercer with us. Let's get you back in here soon. Get a busy weekend, and back on the road. You've got Maryland, then we'll eventually get you home, and let's get you back on sooner than later, John.
Sounds great. Thank you, Paul. And go Herd.
John Mercer, head coach of the Marshall University tennis team. Let's turn our attention now to baseball. Tri-State baseball team is no longer the Tri-State baseball team. Instead, is the Tri-State Coal Cats. And joining me on the program now is Jason Camp. He's the president and general manager of the Tri-State Coal Cats. And Jason, I'm surprised that you guys didn't have me, taken out a couple of weeks ago when Tommy Gregg let it slip a little bit about what the name was going to be. I'm surprised I'm still sitting here because, let me tell you, I was worried that I was worried. I broke weeks and weeks and weeks of planning.
Well, trust me, we thought about it.
I appreciate that.
It was disappointing, but Tommy and Solomon have been so great to work with, honestly. I can't fault Tommy for it either. He was excited about it. I think he forgot he was supposed to keep it under wraps, but, Tommy was on this morning with on the MLB network where we really broke it on their morning show. So it was amazing to be able to get that exposure. Tommy's doing a great job. The Appy League itself is great for development of players, but it's also great for development of our future coaches and managers, right? So Tommy was one of the coaches last year. He wasn't the head manager, but he's getting his opportunity this year to really develop as a coach, and Solomon also on the pitching side. So it's great to, from the top down, all the way from the kids playing on the field to these guys, seeing their progression into professional baseball, being from their playing days and going into the management side. It's really cool to be a part of.
Now, how'd you get involved? Now, you have a background, so it's a natural for you. You have
It's a clean background, I promise.
It's a legitimate background. And I say that only because there have been times where professional sports have been attempted in Huntington, and the ownership group not necessarily has a strong background in that particular sport. For you, it's a natural fit because you have experience at the major league level all the way down to the minor league level in concert with the major league team. You've done this before and successfully.
Yeah, and life's a cycle sometimes, and you never know what God's going to put in front of you. So, for me and my family, in the past, I spent 17 years in professional sports, like you mentioned. Not a lot of people up here know that. I started out, I graduated from the University of Florida, went straight to work for the Florida Marlins when we were starting out as a franchise. So this is back in 94, 95, just as we were got our franchise in MLB in the expansion. And I helped them with developing their spring training facility as well as their Class A minor league team in the Florida State League. So I did that, wet behind the ears, and started out interning all the way up where I was assistant director of spring training and assistant general manager of the Florida Marlins. So it was a great time in baseball. I did that for 3 years after we won the World Series in '97. I was fortunate enough to get a World Series ring that year. And Wayne Huizenga, who owned Blockbuster and owned, the Marlins and the Dolphins and the Panthers at the time, we actually sold the team after we won the World Series in '97. And at that time, he asked me to go work for the Dolphins. I did that, helping produce the Super Bowl in '99. And then I opened the new hockey arena for the Florida Panthers and spent 5 years as their vice president of sales and marketing and corporate development for that. And I was a tournament director on the PGA Tour for a long time. So I've got a very deferred, eclectic background. But, my first love was baseball. And, I'm a baseball guy through and through, born and raised playing my whole life. And, I've transitioned into kind of my second career just, with some restaurants, and we're developing Camp Landing, my wife and I, and, just doing a lot of business stuff. And actually Mike Kurtner here at the station, he called me in. He had met Christian Spears, and when they were talking about the new baseball stadium and the possibility of a minor league team coming, Mike had brought me up to Christian, and Christian gave me a call and said, hey, would you, let's get to know each other and come in. And we started talking about things and, my past experience. And, he said, hey, can you help out? And I said, no problem. Would love to, consult and do whatever I can. But honestly, my plate's kind of full, and I really don't have time to get super involved. And then he started talking to me about the Appy League and the minor league team and how we could partner together. And this, partnership with Marshall and being able to work with Major League Baseball to bring in the Appy League. The fact that the league itself is underwritten in this partnership with Major League Baseball, how everything changed in the minors and the development leagues after COVID, it really is special to play in the Appalachian League now. To have the best college players in the U.S. be invited by MLB to come and play on these teams to get ready for the draft and get more, at-bats and get more innings. It's special to work hand-in-hand with MLB doing that. It's different than some of the other minor leagues that you have, and certainly different than what, I experienced in the Florida State League. But, I ran and oversaw a stadium that was, just about this size, a little bit bigger. And, we sold out every spring training game, and I pulled tarp and everything else. And it's really fun 30 years later to get back at it and be out there. So, Sean Collins and myself and our staff are really looking forward to come together. And, this has been a long time coming. We're excited for today to be able to talk about the Cold Cats and sell some tickets and merchandise, and everybody can go to coldcats.com and purchase those tickets and see what we're all about. And, we're really going to be ingrained in the community with the little leagues. And that's what minor league baseball and this atmosphere is going to be about in the summer. It's about having fun, letting your hair down and doing some crazy things out there in the field. So we're going to have great stuff on the field as we look at these young players really develop and, kind of craft their game and transition from aluminum bats over to wooden, and work with Tommy Gregg and his staff and develop these kids each year and really give back to the community.
Let's talk about this logo. That's the big thing today. Tri-State Cold Cats.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's pretty cool. Thankfully, again, Tommy Gregg did not get me banished from Cold Cats baseball with that little slip of the tongue. I don't think most people caught it because I blew it off when he mentioned it. I completely ignored that he said it. And it got edited out of the podcast so nobody could go back later. So
correct.
Thankfully, we covered it and didn't ruin this reveal. But Tri-State Cold Cats, there's a lot that goes into this logo. It was designed by Dylan Winters. He's a director of graphic design at Marshall University. What were we looking for when we put this logo together and this name? What was sort of the genesis of it?
I'll tell you what, and Dylan did a phenomenal job on this. I mean, I can't say enough about all of the different iterations and designs that come with it. And if you see our brand guide out there, everything has a reason, a purpose, and a story behind it. So yes, is it a cool looking logo? It absolutely is. But like you're wearing one of our baseball hats right now, and the round logo that we have has got the baseball stitching in it. The paw print logo that we have represents the Rocky Mountain region that we're in right here in the Appalachian region. All of kind of kick back to coal. And, that's what this is, right? We are in a blue collar area. And coal has been a blessing and a curse for a lot of generations around here for a lot of things. And, but it is a part of this community. And you can see what Marshall's doing with some of their technology and some of their things that they're teaching over there is coal's still here, but there's good things that you can do with it. There's graphene and some of the other green energy things that can do with coal, and the residual is what's being researched now, and how you can take what might have been damaging in the past but also beneficial for others. And this is coal country, right, for good or bad, and it's who we are and how we work hard either in the coal mines or out on the baseball field. It's just it's all about coming together, being there for each other, and I think just the Cold Cats is, kind of bringing it back, to who we are as this whole tri-state area.
And that's another question. Tri-State Cold Cats, not Huntington Cold Cats, Tri-State Cold Cats. You're trying to bring everyone in, because Matt Vasgersian, when he was talking about it this morning on MLB Network, that Huntington is right there at the tip with Ohio and Kentucky. So you're trying to branch out and bring everyone in. You're not considering this just a West Virginia team. This is the tri-state baseball team.
Exactly. And that might be one thing that I bring from coming from a different region. My family of seven and my wife and I, we have 5 kids. We came up from the Florida area about 6 years ago. So I think sometimes I look at it, a lot of the people around here who were born and raised here, it's like, hey, you're either Huntington or you're Ashland or Boyd County or you're Ironton and South Point. And to me, we're just a community, right? And I'll tell you, for me, myself, I live in South Point. I have businesses in Kentucky, and now we have a baseball team, and I drive through West Virginia every day to get to Kentucky, right? We're all about being on the Ohio River and being in this community, because everything we do, we work, play, and live in all 3 states. And baseball and what this team is doesn't have city lines or state lines or county lines, and I say the same thing about Camp Landing. It's just a community thing. Your radio station, right? You're not a Huntington radio station, you're a tri-state radio station, right? And that's what we are is, we're in this area that it gets a really bad rap of there's nothing to do. Right. And that's one thing of what we did at Camp Landing, of trying to bring about, you don't have to go to Lexington or Pittsburgh or Columbus to get some of, take your families and kids to do something, great and spend some quality time together. And it's the same thing at the baseball field. We're going to embrace the Ironton Little League and the Ashland Little League and the Hurricane and Taze Valley Little League, all the same. Right. That's what we are. We to us have, an 80 to 100 mile radius, and that's what we're going to pull from. And we're all going to support the Cold Cats. And, So that's why I didn't want to be Huntington. I get, some people, and it used to be the Huntington Cubs and all that kind of stuff, but, I did work for the Florida Marlins, and I did work for the Florida Panthers, and even though there's Orlando and Jacksonville and Miami and Tampa and all those other cities, everybody knew where we were, right? Because we were a community team, and that's what we plan on being as well.
Jason Camp is with us, President and General Manager of the Tri-State Coal Cats. The unveiling was today on MLB Network. Tri-State Coal Cats, the new name, the logo. It's got the green and black and white. Why'd you want to stay with the Marshall colors? Any specific reason why you want to keep that familiar color scheme? Is that because the program, the team's going to be associated closely with Marshall University?
Absolutely. So, it's partnering together. This team it's not just the Coal Cats, it's Marshall, it's who we are. We're playing, in the brand new stadium that is absolutely beautiful on that field. And honestly, it's, we wanted to have some integration with Marshall, and that's where you get the green. But with the slate gray and the black, our uniforms are going to be super cool. Our hats are going to be awesome. That's, we have some flexibility. And like I said, even with the games, we'll have a lot more fun here that, we can do without some of the collegiate restrictions that you have out there. But, it's go green. It's Marshall. We are Huntington and what we're doing here. And so we want to integrate a little bit with that. And I do want to say, talking about these top players and the collegiate development that we're doing there, we are going to have 4 Marshall players on our team, and we'll have that every year. That's part of our agreement with Major League Baseball. So we will have some hometown kids, who are playing the college and Appy season right on that field, and, to be able to watch these kids develop and do that right on campus, and extend the season for baseball, not just end it when the kids are out of school, but, do it in June and July for our 24 home games. It's going to be exciting times.
Jason Camp's my guest. Now, the merch is available now. You can go to coalcats.com. You can also go to Cowboys and Angels. That's at Camp Landing, and that's in Ashland. If you're not familiar with it, you should check it out. It's really a center of fun. You get the movie theater. You got everything there. So if you haven't been there, this is a great excuse to go. And you were telling me about the partnership with the provider of the merchandise. You're serious when it comes to reutilizing and recycling. This merchandise it's recycled. There's materials in there that have been repurposed.
Absolutely. And, going back to community and what we're talking about there, we've done a partnership with Mountain Mindful, and we're doing this for the Marshall baseball merchandise as well as the Coal Cat merchandise. So Mountain Mindful is a group right here in town in Huntington, and they're a 501c3, and they're a charity program that uses a lot of the stuff is 100% recycled material, like, 4 water bottles are making these shirts and these hats and things like that. But the majority of it, no matter what merchandise they're selling there, is out of recyclable material. So that's one. And then their staffing and their workforce is all from the local community of some people and groups who need a helping hand. So it could be generational poverty. It could be some rehab situations, but it's all about giving back. And, we want to start from day one. What Major League Baseball wants to do and what the Coal Cats want to do is give back to the community. And, Marshall brought the Mountain Mindful to us, and we sat down with us and created this website. When you go on to coalcats.com and you click on the merchandise, you're going right to the Mountain Mindful website. So with every purchase, you're helping your own community. It's not just buying a great hat or a shirt or a hoodie. It's we're giving back, and that's just one of the small examples that we're starting our franchise on and giving back, and we're doing it each and every day.
The shirts are super cool. The hats are super cool. The hoodie you're wearing right now, I'm stealing the one you're bringing Bill Cornwell tomorrow. He's not going to see it. If he's listening now, it's not yours anymore, Bill. It's going to be mine. That's sweet merchandise. You guys are going to sell out if you haven't already.
Yeah, it's. I knew we were going to have a run on the hats. The hats, we had to wait for Major League Baseball to approve our logo, so it took a minute or two to get that done. So we're a little behind on the hats, but we have a limited amount of hats, but you can pre-order everything, including our on-field hat. And I do want to mention, tomorrow at the Marshall Hall of Fame right here in Huntington from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Mountain Mindful is going to have a pop-up shop. So you can go and get a great lunch on a Friday and buy a shirt and a hat and a hoodie and those other things. So that's part of the partnerships, and you'll see more of these pop-up shops we're going to do right around the community and around the Huntington area.
Jason Camp, President, General Manager, Tri-State Coal Cats. Visit coalcats.com. Also, you can go to this pop-up tomorrow and get some merch. Thank you for the hat. The shirt's awesome. The pullover, hoodie is fantastic. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Really appreciate it, Paul. Thank you.
We'll have him back in the future when we have actually a full show to do. But we got to transition now into Marshall basketball. The Herd taking on Appalachian State. We've got the game here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll be back with you in about 30 seconds.
Retransmitting in Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.